On May 15th, a new Star Trek series was announced with much fanfare. This latest CBS All Access exclusive series will feature the adventures of Captain Christopher Pike, One and Spock, last seen in Star Trek Discovery. The press release highlighted how this was a dream come true for all involved, that the fans were the ones demanding this,
Yay!
and that this series would be returning Star Trek to the optimism and joy of the original series. However exciting this may seem, astute fans should be asking the question, whatever happened to Section 31, the spin-off series set to star Michelle Yeoh as Phlippa Gergiou? That series was also announced in an official manner just as Strange New Worlds was. Only it's been almost a year and a half ago since Section 31 was announced, and we haven't heard anything about it since then, outside of it reportedly still being in active development. How much longer do we have to wait for Section 31? And is that in any way indicative of how long we might have to wait for Strange New Worlds? Because suspiciously absent from the announcement was any kind of release timeframe. In this video, we will begin by briefly going through the Strange New Worlds announcement, before exploring which circumstances held up Section 31 for so long, and how Strange New Worlds is subject to those exact same circumstances. Then, we will uncover something which happened within days of the Strange New Worlds announcement, which in the most extreme case may prevent both Section 31 and Strange New Worlds from ever seeing the light of day. According to the announcement, the show will be based on the years Captain Christopher Pike manned the helm of the USS Enterprise, which sets the series before the events of Star Trek the original series. Strange New Worlds will feature Anson Mount as Captain Pike, Ethan Peck as Mr. Spock, and Rebecca Romijn as One, all reprising their roles from the second season of Star Trek Discovery. The official outline reads, the series will follow Captain Pike, Science Officer Spock, and One in the decade before Captain Kirk boarded the USS Enterprise, as they explore new worlds around the galaxy. The series premiere was written by Akiva Goldsman, with the story by Akiva Goldsman, Alex Kurtzman, and Jenny Lumet. Goldsman, Kurtzman, and Lumet will serve as executive producers, in addition to Henry Alonzo Myers from The Magicians, Heather Caden, Rod Roddenberry, and Trevor Roth. Aaron Byers, Akela Cooper, and Davey Perez will serve as co-executive producers. Akiva Goldsman will remain as an executive producer and a key part of the creative team on Star Trek Picard as well. Strange New Worlds will be produced by CBS Television Studios, Secret Hideout, and Roddenberry Entertainment. In a statement, executive producer Alex Kurtzman spoke about listening to the fans. When we said we heard the fans' outpouring of love for Pike, One, and Spock when they boarded the Star Trek Discovery last season, we meant it. These iconic characters have a deep history in Star Trek canon, yet so much of their stories have yet to be told. With Akiva and Henry at the helm, the Enterprise, its crew, and its fans are in for an extraordinary journey to new frontiers in the Star Trek universe. Kurtzman is not altogether wrong about the outpouring of love for Pike and his crew. To many fans, they represented the undisputed highlight of not just Star Trek Discovery, but anything put out by Secret Hideout under the Star Trek banner, up to and including Picard. However, there is a far cry between that excitement and excitement for another Star Trek installment from the same basic creatives in charge of both Discovery and Picard. To say what they have produced has divided the fans would be an understatement. But as we said earlier, Strange New Worlds isn't the first series to be announced in this manner, because it follows on the heels of Section 31. Whatever happened to that? On January 14, 2019, Section 31 was announced in a press release that read nearly identical to the Strange New Worlds press release. Let's take a moment to revisit it, because it is relevant to Strange New Worlds. The Section 31 press release said, the series will be produced by CBS Television Studios, Secret Hideout, and Roddenberry Entertainment. Alex Kurtzman, Heather Caden, Rod Roddenberry, and Trevor Roth will serve as executive producers. Aaron Byers will serve as co-executive producer along with Bo-Yeon Kim and Erica Lippold, who will also write the series. Kurtzman announced that Kim and Lippold will serve as showrunners. About its star Michelle Yeoh, Kurtzman said, Michelle has shattered ceilings, broken boundaries, and astonished us with her grace and gravitas for decades. As a human, I adore her. As an actor, I revere her. About the showrunners, Kurtzman said, Erica and Bowie are remarkable, exciting writers who bring a fresh perspective to the world of Star Trek, and we're all thrilled to explore the next wild chapter in the life of Captain Phlippa Gergiou. The star of the show, Michelle Yeoh, said, I'm so excited to continue telling these rich Star Trek stories. Being a part of this universe and this character specifically has been such a joy for me to play. I can't wait to see where it all goes. Certainly, I believe it will go where no woman has ever gone before. So, where is it? When and where will we see Section 31? That information was strategically absent from the Section 31 announcement, which was timed to coincide with the release of Star Trek Discovery's second season. What our sources told us at the time, and as usual, we must stress that everything we hear in this manner is information that we cannot independently verify and therefore must be treated as rumor, was that this press release was dropped specifically to drive up interest in Star Trek Discovery's second season and to create the impression that Star Trek was thriving. The ones that really needed to be convinced of this were Netflix, Star Trek Discovery's international distributor. Star Trek Discovery is a very expensive show, and the way it was funded was by way of international distributor Netflix paying so much for the international distribution rights that they effectively paid the entire production budget of the show, including the production fee for both Secret Hideout and CBS. However displeased Netflix were with the reception of Season 1 of Discovery, they were nonetheless legally required to pay up for the next seasons of Star Trek Discovery. But Section 31 was a spin-off where Netflix had the first right of refusal, but no legal obligation to pay for it. If Section 31 was to be made, Netflix had to agree to voluntarily pick up the international distribution rights and fund it, and so they had to be convinced that there would be a market for it. To this end, Secret Hideout hoped announcing the Section 31 series would drum up enough interest in Star Trek Discovery and drive enough hype for the Michelle Yeoh lead spin-off that a deal with Netflix could be reached to actually fund and make the series later on. To date, no such deal has been reached. Netflix wanted out of their Star Trek Discovery commitment. Taking on an additional Section 31 commitment was the last thing they would do. Secret Hideout were then free to offer Section 31 to other funding and distribution partners, but to date, none have shown interest in picking it up, and hence, there is still no Section 31 series. This funding model and habit of announcing a series without funding and distribution in place is incidentally not unique to Star Trek Discovery and Section 31. The same thing happened with Star Trek Picard. When Patrick Stewart walked out on that stage at Star Trek Las Vegas on August 4th, 2018, and proudly announced that Picard is back. At the time when Stewart said that, Picard technically wasn't, because neither funding nor international distribution was yet in place. Secret Hideout counted on the announcement event creating so much hype that Netflix would be excited to sign on for the series and commit to multiple seasons. Despite early talks, however, Netflix decided to pass on Picard, allegedly because they had lost all faith in Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman's ability to produce Star Trek of any kind. That's when Secret Hideout approached Amazon, who eventually agreed to sign on for it, but for a much lower rate than they originally wanted Netflix to pay for it. If Amazon hadn't signed on, then like Section 31, Picard would have remained in development, but not actually end up being made. This takes us back to where we started, to the Strange New Worlds announcement. Do you know what else was missing from it other than a time frame for release? The international distributor. That none is listed suggests that, like both Picard and Section 31 before it, Strange New Worlds was announced without funding and international distribution in place. But will it find distribution and funding after the fact and end up being made, like Picard, or end up in limbo like Section 31? As usual, we must stress that the information we have obtained from our sources cannot be independently verified and must therefore be treated as rumor. What we have heard is that since Strange New Worlds is another spin-off of Star Trek Discovery, Netflix had the right of first refusal. If anything, the reception to Picard affirmed to them that Kurtzman and Goldsman can't do Star Trek, and that they made the right decision in passing on Picard. So they quickly passed on Strange New Worlds as well. Secret Hideout had anticipated this, and tailored Strange New Worlds more to address the complaints they knew Amazon had against Picard anyway, because for this series, Amazon was allegedly their preferred funding and distribution partner. However, in the days between the announcement and the formal pitch meeting with Amazon, an unforeseen disaster struck. On May 19th, just 4 days after the Strange New Worlds announcement, YouTube channel Red Letter Media released their feature-length Mr. PLINKETT Star Trek Picard, a brutal takedown of Amazon's previous venture with Secret Hideout. In the video, which racked up more than 1 million views in a matter of days, the sheer incompetence and ineptitude of Secret Hideout's producing and writing staff was put on display for the world to see, and worse still, for the key decision makers at Amazon to see. The rumors we have heard is that Amazon were already disappointed with how Picard had performed for them, and especially with repeat viewings, which were abysmal. The PLINKETT review further confirmed to them that the Picard series failed with fans and general audiences alike. Like Netflix before them, Amazon had allegedly lost faith in Kurtzman and Goldsman's ability to write and produce Star Trek, and therefore passed on Strange New Worlds. Needless to say, this didn't make Section 31 an easier sell either. If this is accurate, it would mean that as of this moment, Strange New Worlds is in the same place as Section 31, in active development, but at the same time in limbo, without funding or international distribution. That is not to say it will stay there. Secret Hideout can approach another party than Netflix and Amazon, or it can revise either the budget or the story and then make new pitches to both Amazon and Netflix respectively. Case in point, Picard went through multiple revisions and cost cuts before Amazon agreed to sign on for it. We have heard they are already hard at work on revising the Strange New Worlds pitch. In its original incarnation, the series was intended to run up until, but not overlap with the beginning of the original series. Rumors have it they are working on new revisions, which will hasten the arrival of Captain Kirk and bring the series closer to original series territory. For now, if rumors are to be believed, everything is still up in the air and it remains to be seen how and where the chips will fall. When we get an inclination of that, we will let you know. For now, let us know your thoughts on and how excited you are for the possible Strange New Worlds series in the comments.